Go.
Okay, got it. Hello, I'm Nora Lynch-Smith, your president for New England region, and I'm really excited to have what a great group of people we have here. So we have Christine on our leadership team, Michelle, Greg, Yolanda, Marie, our leadership team here, and of course, last but not least, our past president and also on the national board, Kurt Thompson is here, and also our NAR board member too. I'm very excited to have you here. And last but not least, again, is Desiree Patno, our guest for today for monthly Mastermind. So Desiree, I met Desiree via Clubhouse, and she's still on Clubhouse, right? You're a big Clubhouse person. So back in 2021, when Clubhouse first started, and I was on different, real estate groups and whatnot. And so Desiree and I got to know each other a little bit, which tells you the power of social media. And then also meeting IRL in real life. I met you, I think, in person for the first time at San Diego. Just
Florida.
Really
we met in Florida.
But San Diego too.
Yes,
Yep, in Florida too. So let me give you a little bit of a bio. I circled the ones I wanted to. Otherwise, I could just talk about you all day long. So Ms. Patno is a visionary with over 3 decades of specializing in the housing and real estate ecosystem. And that's really what was fascinating to me when we met in Clubhouse and you're speaking. Providing advisory services as a global presenter and an angel investor to enhance the quality of life, gender equity, and social impact. She has built women in the housing and real estate ecosystem, otherwise known as NAWRB, and to elevate women, bridge industries, and change the world. And you also chairwoman of NAWRB's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Leadership Council. And you oversee the council's efforts to raise the number of women leaders, grow women's empowerment, and empower all levels in the housing ecosystem. You're also board of director member for Second Century Ventures, which is a catalyst through NAR for emerging technologies, scaling real estate, financial, insurance, and home service verticals. And finally, this is the last, I'm going to just go one more paragraph here. Ms. Patno was on the Women Impacting Public Policy Leadership Advisory Council and Enterprising Women Advisory Board. And in 2017, named the highest ranking woman, 4th overall top real estate influencer to follow by entrepreneur.com. And you also presented on margins of the 72nd United Nations General Assembly and the intersection between gender diversity, innovation, and economic sustainability. And in 2016, she received the Housing Wire's Women of Influence Award and the SBA, Small Business Association, Women in Business Champion of the Year Award. And I will stop there. And Desiree, I'm going to let you take this away on really what you wanted to talk about in all of these, what I just mentioned. So there you go.
Thank you very much, Nora. Yeah, no, Nora has introduced me to some incredible people, and she was just up in Newport early this summer when we were at
California.
the office for Opal, to where people from around the world come to cross collaborate and investigate. So thank you very much for having me as your guest. Super excited. My second son actually moved to Boston just this year to live there. So very cool, very great place. So what's going on in the world right now? What's going on in real estate? What's going on in our ecosystem? And one of the things that I really wanted to help you guys is that every one of you is a realtor, correct? Or own your own company. Okay. So the idea is that I always am a problem solver. I always go to and say, what can we do better in the industry? So the single point of contact that we got into the foreclosure market, I've sold over several thousand properties in the foreclosure market, how to streamline to help the consumer. So what are we dealing with right now? Inventory is at an all-time low. The idea is that how do we be a better steward, not only for our customer, but the community we live in, and how do we make sure that we're sustainable? We ourselves that are in the business, because obviously we have to be sustainable and the market's going up and down. Things are going really crazy out there. So you heard me before you went live today that we're talking about what's going on with the different climate issues and things that are going out there. So every one of us has a passion, whatever that passion is, and you think it has nothing to do with real estate. The core of our existence is real estate. Our physical being is taking up space. Whether you're in a home, whether you're in an office, whether you're in space, whether you're on a boat, all that is physical real estate that's sellable, manageable, and has a core essence of how we live. Utilize that to your strength. How many times you've said, I wish I could go talk to that person that owns that home. I've never been able to speak to him. Or I wish I'd be able to talk to this person who's a CEO of a major company. Or I wish I could be involved in some capacity. Health is the number one thing that you can get anyone to listen to you. If you're passionate and you have grit about something like I do about the aging population, I'm going to be 63 next month. My ability to say what's going on. Am I an expert at experts? No. I'm really, really knowledgeable though. And I can carry on a conversation in any aspect to go through those 10 minutes. So I ask you and I implore you, in your real estate profession, what are you passionate about? And allow people to know that you're passionate about it. And I guarantee you, come on over here. Let me talk to you about this. And remember, the assets not just about the physical house. It's a physical being is that asset. Because you go into that homeowner, or you go into that business owner, you go an investor, how many times they own a business? They have a side hustle. How many of you have a side hustle? Everyone have a real estate, everyone have a business that, let's just say, that's making art, that's has a house cleaning business, it's selling clothes, that's, those are my passions, that are into, helping you're part of an investment into something. No one else has a side hustle, side business other than just selling a physical asset besides NAWRB? Okay.
I think we all do, we just don't know it.
Right. And I guarantee you're selling vitamins, or you're into some kind of creams, or you're into some kind of yoga or whatever. You're communicating with people. And the idea is that how do you make that to where it's to your strength and your passion? So when people hear me speak, they're like, oh my God, she's so passionate. So I set my bar at the highest level. Oh, Desiree, that means you have to talk to the president. So what's your problem? Let's go talk to the president of the United States. Let's go talk to the head of the Secret. Let's go talk to the head of the Secret Service. Let's go talk to the Pentagon, third generation Department of Defense. So I know so much about the military that it helps me in my real estate core, because guess what? Is not the military helping protect you? Is not the military need where they house their offices? I know people are making millions of dollars just leasing real estate to the government. Is that not in your core business? Is that not selling or buying or have an asset? But we think very linear in what we do. So when I say ecosystem, I want you to think bigger and grander. It's not about you doing the business that's just transactional. It's how do you have experts around you that'll work underneath you? Okay, so how many of you heard of these special programs out there like the All Inside? Anyone know what the All Inside by Biden is?
No, I don't.
50% of all the homeless of the United States reside in 5 cities and the state of California. Do you know they allocated a federal officer just in August of this year that's sole job is to go live in those cities for 2 full years? They have no access to money. What is the biggest problem we have as real estate agents and professionals? I own my own real estate brokerage, Desiree Patno Enterprises, that we have in getting anything through the process to get approved. Any? Bureaucracy.
Zoning.
How do we get approvals or permits? How do we get so-and-so to talk to us? How do we get infrastructure approval? How do we get, development plans, right? So the idea is that their sole job is to handle the bureaucracy that I need to build a place for migrants. I need a place to build for veterans. I need to deal with homeless shelters. I need to deal with affordable housing. I need to deal with, we can't get a grocery store in here. There's nothing, look at the food deserts, that no food store within 50 miles. Their sole job is to cut through all that. How many of you like with them in your back pocket that you can text them and call them and say, they're not doing what I need to get done, and I need this done now? Like the ADUs in California, you can put an ADU in any place in the state of California, and the associations can't do you anything, can't stop you. Zero, full stop.
And for those of you that don't know ADUs, accessory dwelling units.
Your granny flats that you might call them back on the East Coast, those kinds of things, okay? So we can have 2, not just 1, 2 on our properties and the entire state, and they can't stop you. And you can rent them out, and you can have them up to 30 days, that you can do short-term rentals no less than 30 days. What? So those are kind of things. So that's just one. How many of you would love to get a grant like you could have got during the PPP loans, or get some way of funding yourself because you have a nonprofit? How many of you guys are part of a nonprofit? donate to a nonprofit. Okay. Would you like to go and say, hey, I was able to get this grant for you. I know this grant that you should apply for. Would you not all be the superstar instead of going, let me go raise all the money for you. Let me put on these huge events. What if you were able to say, got through this grant, I was able to give this money. So the idea is that you go to grant.gov is one place, but more importantly, you can go to, there's a program that's out there called invest.gov. So invest.gov is a brand new, they launched, which is a program that can highlight on people who want to start new companies for investing. Also, it's a way to go through your grants and programs. So there's so much out there. So I sit on the SBA as a resource partner for small businesses. So there's only 9 of us that help women-owned small businesses. It doesn't matter the word woman's in there, forget it. You can put minority in there. You can put hub zone in there. You can put disabled veteran in there. You can put every different classification in there. It's the same. I work in the specialty of dealing with classifications, okay? So the idea is during the pandemic, I know people that could get 3 times the amount of money they would normally get in from grants, not loans, grants that never had to be paid back. How many of you have clients that own property that they could use Department of Energy's renewable energy program as a tool that they could go help and develop, and someone would pay them $75,000 for the use of their property? There are so many ways that you can be a realtor. Remember, the word is about you're knowledgeable to help them, give them sources. And you're like, well, Desiree, that's not helping me sell that asset and make money doing that. The idea is that you're going to get in on an opportunity to be a business partner. You're going to be on the opportunity to help the community, and you're going to be able to get in on who has what. Oh, I have this piece of property I'm thinking of selling. Oh, I would like to develop it with you, because you're in their family aura. When I say I deal with family offices, my goal is to go in there without a clinical lawyer, without a clinical doctor, without a clinical, CPA. I go in and help them to be one of them. I have none of those degrees to go in there and say, hey, how, let's reframe this. Let's look at this. Let's be part of it. So at my age with 4 adult kids, they're all boys. I was a tomboy, played water polo, first girl to play water polo in Southern California, blah, 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 an all men's team. I would go in there and say, I want to do that. I want to be part of that ecosystem. So if you put yourself in the position that you help navigate, like how many of you deal with divorce cases? Are you not a counselor? Are you not a mentor, right? Maria and Yolanda, you guys are really trying to help them mitigate the drama, because if you can cut through and remove the emotion, it's a pretty clean deal. If you can remove the emotion, it's really, really hard to do. So be able to navigate that. Think if you're in a family and you're upset with, I remember when I was a kid, my mom did this, I remember this. We have to remove that emotion and look at the end game. What is that to do with be able to put it down on paper? And I'll give you a little secret. When you go and say, you know what, I know that you're an ultra high net worth individual, or you're a Bush or a Rockefeller or some of the high end families that you hear all the time, that you go and say, well, you got plenty of money. You want to invest in my nonprofit. You want to help me because of the cause. If everyone did that, which they do, then they would have no money. And their comment is, we would be on the street too. Bring me an Excel file that shows me that I can be good Samaritan, but I'm still going to make money. I'm still going to be sustainable. So let me put that idea in your mind. Here in Orange County, what we did is we're going to take 200 families and take them off the streets and put them into permanent housing. How did they do that? They got Disneyland to donate $5 million. They got the families to say, here's a door, which is a unit, a condo, or whatever. And they got 200 of those, and they paid them, the family office, the money for the apartment. They had a case manager assigned to each one. They had an accountant who took care of everything. They fully furnished them, gave them a secure deposit. That way, the property is fully paid for. They were doing good work, and they took care of everything for them. You're going, well, why shouldn't we do more of this? Because what's the number one delay in getting more properties to market? Not only the bureaucracy, but the time it takes to build it. 5 to 7 years from the time you go buy the land, go through procurement, development, infrastructure, and supply chain issues, right? I got a property right now that'll help the homeless right now. We'll figure it out. We'll go through it. That is where my dream of having the homeless to the ultra high net worth individuals came together and formed the ecosystem of how do we be sustainable. Now you're going, Desiree, this is so high. I can never do this. This is too much. I mean, this is no. Take a component of it. My component that I want to launch is how do we take care of the disasters that we were just talking about? Was your home built to withstand 9 inches of rain within 2 hours? Any of you? Do you know if anyone is? But are you getting that kind of exposure? Did you see it in New York? Did you see it in Florida? We had our first hurricane in California. So why aren't you learning on what it would take to find out what it's going to take so to get this done? You're not the expert, but you're saying, don't you want to retrofit your house and figure out how to make it better? I have some partners are here that I could come in and help you. You then get a broker dealer with them to come in to help. And then from there, you become the expert that you care about the community, because the last thing you want to do is go fight the fight that the house gets flooded and or damaged. And guess what? How many insurance claims do you know how to file a claim that you're an expert in, and you know what the rules are, the insurance company, how that they don't pay you? You don't even how to Google it or how to go look it up to see who's that expert, let alone if they take advantage of you, how to go hire an attorney. You see what I'm going at? That you become more of a conduit from, okay, you built the house. Now, how do we protect the house? Not just solar, but how do I protect the house? How do I provide, if I'm sustainable on my own, to go with it? So you're going, okay, this is crazy, Des. Take it back. Take a component. How many of you are passionate about aging? Passionate about health? Yeah? Are some of you into vitamins? Some of you into Alzheimer's, dementia kind of thing? Some into other things? Guarantee if you put up a conversation and say, yeah, I know this great place, you know, that I've really been working with and they've done a great job, so-and-so, someone's going to hear you and they're going to want to come to you. Your job is not for you to go to them. It's for you to go to them to come to you. You want to walk into a room, no matter where you are, grocery store, you know, a major event, global speaker, you want to walk into that room and they're like, oh my God, I never thought of that. Tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. So that's my whole job here. So yes, we do third-party certification for women-owned small business, women-owned businesses, not small, just plain third-party for women-owned businesses in real estate. We also do, you know, the core essence is that how do you connect the dots between industries that you never thought of? So I love some questions and answers from you that, you know, that I'll do the, you know, I would love other people to answer and even give a thought, because sometimes the best answer isn't who's speaking, but someone else who's on the call, which is where Clubhouse is so fantastic and Twitter Spaces is so fantastic, because it's collaborative. I sit on the council, the NDLC. I'm the chairwoman. I formed it with Rebecca Steele. Everyone remember Rebecca Steele from Bank of America days when they did the 1,500 white tents around the United States where you could do a short sale. Remember when Bank of America did the short sale, 1 hour in for your home buyer and then 1 hour to you did a short sale and it was a loan mod or short sale then done. Remember that day?
I don't remember them around here doing it. Do you?
Yeah,
Kurt?
they did 1,500 locations around the United States. But anyway, so what happened is that when Countrywide did the hustle loans, it was a very big deal. And they went in there and you could within an hour as a homeowner and or as an agent for the homeowner, go in there. And they had 200 loan officers sitting there at each location all day to write, literally within 1 hour would reduce your loan or approve a short sale instantaneously. It was insane. But the idea is that a lot of people got 25 to 40% of their notes written off. So that woman, Rebecca Steele, is the woman who helped me form the council. And on the council, Tammy Bunnell, who you all know very well, Teresa Powell-Smith, the head of IBM for Chief Technology Officer who did the IBM Fellow, Dr. Chitra Durai. I could go down the list. And the reason these women are on the council is we're collaborating together to help each other to make a way to help society in our communities of real estate, not only to elevate women into higher positions, but it's expanded into really helping our core essence, like we have the 12 principles. So every month we have a new principle. And the idea is that it's about, we have 12 of them. The idea is to help you think as a leader, because every one of you are a leader of that investment real estate or that homeowner real estate or your community real estate, no matter who you are. I steal the phrase from Tammy Bunnell. A Girl Scout is a CEO who sells cookies. She has to manage her time, how much she's buying, what's her time worth, and what is the return she's going to get on that investment. Yet we don't think of it that way. You're managing your time. You're a CEO of a company, even if you work for another broker, even if you're independent, you are that CEO of your company. Open
Any
for
questions? Any questions for Desiree? I can actually, Desiree, if you want to take it from there, I remember putting you in touch with one of my clients who now is the head of a portable charging stations. And that was a great, so he was a real estate client. And I said, you need to connect with Desiree and see what's available. If you want to take that away as an example, right?
So I met Nora. Nora was in Florida. And she says, oh my God, Desiree, you got to meet Michael. Michael's, oh my God, he's starting this EV thing. You got to get to know him. So we got in some conversations. He's raised a ton of money. I mean, we're talking, nine digits that he was raising for a company, to brand new company to go take on Tesla's battery chargers in another country, raising capital. So no matter how far-fetched it is. And so that's a way of bonding. He left the real estate world from the finance side and went in to run the CEO of this major company. So you never know who's across the table, where they are, who they work for, and what they do. We always think we need to go over somewhere else to go meet someone else, when in your own backyard, you could be talking to someone that you have no idea has an interconnected relationship to someone else. So when you go to DC, never go to DC and treat the intern who gets paid nothing to work 24 hours a day and walk in there with our jewelry and all nicely dressed and everything and go, yeah, I'm here to see the senator or the governor or blah, 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 blah. You walk in there and treat them like they're the president. And I guarantee you they will call you back and make you the recommendation that when that senator or congressman or whatever official they are needs someone and you fill that spot because you made an impression to them, your name goes to the list and you get called in for that job.
Terrific. Any other questions? I had another question. If people raise your hand or just unmute yourself. The SBA, what you were talking about. So for example, I have not done that, explored that opportunity for grants and whatnot. So you go onto sba.gov or whatever it is, and then you look under grants, or any suggestions for that?
Grant.gov is where you want to go look at. And you want, everyone wants to go to become a member or find out your closest city that's a very active member. Irvine, California is very culturally mixed, 128 different dialects. I said that correctly, 128 different dialects are spoken here in Irvine, California. And we have one of the most robust chamber of commerces that brings people from all over the world. We have sister companies, sister countries and cities all over the world. And the idea is that my infrastructure, what's going on in my community, my infrastructure, what's going on in other parts of embassies, what's going down, it's really powerful. So the idea is that you're going to learn new things that you didn't know about, or things that you're like, oh my gosh, this is a great way to line my business up. How did I become so globally connected without ever going out of the United States?
And another question, that's great. I put it in the chat for those of you. I just put invest.gov, SBA grant.gov, and Department of Energy, renewable energy grants. And then finally, since a lot of us are, oh, Kurt, I'll let you go. I wanted you to just touch on, though, at some point, Second Century. I know you're not an official.
Oh, Second Century Ventures, right. So I'm on their advisory board. So imagine having 1.6 million agents. That is your customer. Because you remember, you have to sell whatever you're doing. And you have a partner, which is Second Century Ventures, which is completely independent than NAWRB. They've made their own portfolio of investing over 200 companies that are focused on real estate, insurance, and different facets to make it easier and better. So let's say you want to develop a software to develop the buy program, or Plunk. One of their first companies was DocuSign. Do I need to say more how much money DocuSign went from 0 to whatever? Okay. So the idea is that if you have a company or you want to be part of an investment of a company and you want to present them to Second Century Ventures, what you do is you go to scv.vc, and on there you can apply to go submit your deck. They're in Latam, they're in Mexico, they're in Canada, they're in 7 different countries, not just the United States. They're global. So the idea is that every year they have a new cohort that they will have a mentor come in and help you to not only work with you as a company, you have a buyer, which is us in the market, that if it's reasonable, because their job is to make the real estate professional safer, stronger, and more accessible to grow their company. Love the cat. And the second side is I have 3 dogs. It's okay. It's all good. And so the idea is that how do you get involved with that? IOI Summit was just in Florida. Every year they have a tech conference that you can go and see them pitch their decks and meet with all the other people. And then once a year, if you get accepted, they had this huge party. They flew everyone in from around the world to get together and have them share each other's companies so they could each leverage each other. We always think we're in competition, like all of you are realtors. Well, why would I be talking to you? And why be talking to you? Because you're my competition in my neighborhood because we farm together. No, you grow each other, you help each other, you respect each other, because when a deal comes through, you go, I love Nora. She's a cool cat. She knows her stuff, and I'm gonna have a smooth sailing deal. Versus, and oh my God, if I see that person again, I'm just gonna, not gonna go. We have to support each other because the end game, you can't know everything. And as long as you understand that your best friends are your best enemies in the business, meaning that they do the most amount of business. Your best competition is actually the people you want to be the closest to. Yep. And it's really hard when you're in sales. So think of you've gone through a learning curve of get to where you understand your assets, no matter what class you're in. Now it's your job, my opinion is, to understand the consumer who's in that asset, what are their trauma and their triggers that you need to address? But then how do you get better to take care of yourself to help other people? Because what is that thing that's lacking? And I'll close with one little thing then, if there's no more questions. Remember the old whiteout?
Yep, liquid paper.
Liquid paper. I have to retype this whole thing.
And Kurt did have a question. So Kurt did have a question, but anyway.
Okay, that's what we could do. So that's the idea. So the idea is that solve a problem in real estate that you think that, well, it'd be too much for me to take on. Find someone who can be a coder. Find someone who can do that. And that's where you can come with it. And that's where you're welcome to, NAWRB is my company. You're welcome to reach out. I do consulting, but that's where it's at. Okay, so the question is.
Kurt, go ahead.
Sure. Thank you so much, Nora. And thank you, Desiree, for being here with us today and sharing such incredible information. You're obviously an influencer and you're from California. And as we know, a lot of things start in California before they hit the East Coast.
Yes.
So I always like to ask the same question. What is it that you see, either from a technology, an approach, or just any other aspect that I'm not thinking about right now, but could impact or change our industry? What's top of mind for you right now in terms of what you're seeing?
Knowledge to help avoid a catastrophe. I know that's really strange. Why? Who would have thought, like I use the example of 9 inches of rain in 2 hours. We need to think of preventive care to our body, to the real estate industry, and most importantly, to our own place of living and our place of working. So do you have insurance? Do you have the infrastructure to make sure that you're sustainable? If you had no access to a phone, if you had no access to any communication, the roads are blocked. Look what's going on in other countries right now. You've got to be a self-provider and self-sustainable on how to take care of yourself, because you've got to, if I got hurt, how do you provide medical aid to someone you love if you don't know the basics of sustainability of existence of life? So my answer to you is, I see technology as a way to take care of the everyday things that we can allow someone to do it, that can alert us to do things, so we can focus on the mind, on to help people's mindset, and to think of things that they would not have thought because they've been so accustomed to our level of not taking care of our physical self, our mental self, to be sustainable. Because we're so used to, well, I can just Google it. I don't need to remember it. I don't need to know that information because I have access to the information. Because remember, you're only as good as the communication you have with someone else. And if you're stranded, how are you going to take care of yourself and or communicate with someone else?
That's helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I think that ADU in California, wow, I mean, think about that. We call it, I would think like in-laws, like an in-law
Yes,
apartment, is kind of our
same thing.
vernacular. And wow, wouldn't that be amazing for, rising taxes that we have and, Well,
we have Prop 13, so we can't get kicked out. You guys back there that can raise your taxes to nth degree and have no limits on it, that's a problem. But the other thing is, remember, and this is probably one of the most pivotal things that I can teach you or spread, is we are now at a government stroke that we have too many people who want to just make instant change. In our industry, it used to be 6 months to a year to 2 years that new change was going to be invoked. We no longer have that grace. I want to make a change. I don't care if people vote on it or not. I'm just going to invoke it. And that was this charge causing us to have major anxiety or reaction, because it's not only the government's making instant changes, our weather's making instant changes, and our society of diplomacy of accepting, the rule of the law is this is the way you're supposed to do it, but it doesn't matter because no one's going to get me in trouble for it. Those are all changing. So how do you deal with that? Personally, your family sees that, your clients see that, and how do you make that a better structure to go with it? Those are things that are really impacting, that we work on the business, but not the impact of that business.
Right. I mean, like, look what they're doing in New York City. They made it almost overnight, for the most part, getting rid of Airbnbs, essentially.
Well,
Right?
they've been fighting,
Let's
yeah,
keep it.
and here in certain cities it's illegal. And then certain cities you can't have so those, and remember, look at the health industry. If you're passionate about some kind of medicine, or you're passionate about some kind of way of taking care of someone to make them feel better, that person will remember you, and that person will give you deal flow, relationships, or infrastructure. Remember, your best deals comes from a relationship, and not it's about their money's economics, but it's about that they know you care, and they'll say, you know what, I thought of you. But remember, it's about bitches being kind, and that we use society as real estate agents and realtors. Our number word out of our mouth has to be empathy, and we have to say that we care and see that. My financial advisor got me because it wasn't about how much money I had or didn't have. It's not about the clientele she had of billionaires. It was the idea is how she treated her family, her husband, what she did when taking places and doing things like a normal mom without any pretentiousness. I gave her my entire portfolio because she was ground to earth, normal, and cared to help people, and did out of her own goodness to make sure it got done over a period of several months. And I said, I want someone like you to be in my corner. And she's already in New York. She's not even Connecticut right outside, but she's not here in California. And that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, empathy and authenticity. I think we always go back to that. Really important. Well, thank you so much, Desiree. I want to honor your time. And wow, see, I knew I just had to make the intro and let you go and let you just take it away. So thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing you next month. Are you gonna? Well, you'll be there because you'll be in Anaheim. You're right there.
I will be at NAWRB. I'll be at NAWRB. But let me go ahead and put in my chat. Here's my email. If anyone wants to reach out to me, the best place to connect with me is on LinkedIn. So if you connect with me on LinkedIn, I'm the only Desiree Patno on LinkedIn, so that's an easy play. I'm on this.
And I know your favorite color is orange.
No, actually it's gold.
Oh, is it gold? Okay, gold, orange. All right.
Okay, so why is it there? Yeah, so Desiree, I'm trying to get, I don't know why it's not working here. Yeah, so yeah, it's
Well,
gold
when we
actually.
post this-
Orange is good. This is a terrible, and those who don't know me, an inside tip. I'm a fashion guru. I always have. I've been collecting designer clothes, and I can buy them at 3 cents on the dollar way before I became passe to go through these online programs. So for years, I always say, get to know the system, understand the system, and maximize the system. And that's what you need to do with life. Know the system, because life is a bowl of cherries, and most importantly, it's a game. You got to know the rules of the game to play the game, and I trademark that.
That's awesome. Great. Desiree,
So thank you all.
I'll see you in person next month or in a couple of weeks. And
Yes, I definitely. I
thank you
mean,
very
hello,
much.
you're out to California every month now, going to Chapman. My son's Alamo. So it's like, this is cool stuff. So anyway,
fun.
please be safe, stay healthy,
Thank you.
and follow the NDLC on Facebook. You'll see some incredible leadership conversations that are going on, and the mindsets of what's going on around the world in real estate.
Yeah, and we'll post that when we repost that to our channel for YouTube. So thanks a lot. Thank you,
You're
everyone. for
welcome.
being
Take
here.
care. Nice meeting you all.
Have a great week. Thank you.
You too.